Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Simplifying Life with Kashira. We're all excited to have a truly remarkable guest with us, Ambassador Terry. He is a visionary leader, a global thought influencer, and brilliant mind behind the consortium model, the repetitive behavior regression process, which has profoundly transformed lives around the world. Ambassador Terry has been recognized as LinkedIn Top Leadership Voice and a nominee for Thinker 50, firmly establishing himself among the most influential leaders of our time. But what truly sets him apart is his mission to inspire, to heal, and lead with purpose. It's such an honor to have you here today. Thank you so much for joining this conversation with me today.
Welcome. I'm excited to be here, Kashira. What an introduction. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Your journey is nothing short of extraordinary. From serving in the military to becoming global thought leader. Ambassador, could you please share some defining moments that shaped the visionary we all see today?
Well, I was blessed as an early adult, young man. I joined the U.S. Navy as an opportunity to break out of my economic problems. College was not in my future unless there was some other way I could procure my degrees. And I always wanted to see the world. I wanted to be a sailor, ride ships, and see the world. And I pretty well did that, about 2/3 of the world over the course of 20 years. And then I retired and started many careers since my old age of 38 when I retired from the Navy. That's kind of cute. Some of the defining moments, the birth of my daughter has been incredible. She just turned 50 and she's not real happy about that number, but I'm excited about it. That means I'm still around. And
Wow.
she has just been an incredible human being and a joy to know, much less love and mentor and be a father figure to. My travels around the world, I'm one of those people that would pull into port on our ships, and I would take off into the crowd and see and talk to people and eat the local foods and just immerse myself into that knowledge. At the time, it was just fun. Now looking back on it, it was an amazing journey because what I've learned from different people from around the world serves me very well to help other people now. And another real turning point for me was going into the corporate world and being a corporate officer. The way we look at work and those types of things is much different in there. Work's work, and you do the job that you're going to do, whether it's pushing a broom or tapping 10 keys or whatever it is, you know. The key is never forget who you are. You're a human first and foremost. And,
Yeah.
if you can be anything in this life, always be kind, but don't take any grief
I
off
love
of
that.
anybody either. Kind people are not weak people. Kind people are very smart. And that journey has been a real uplifting. My name is Ambassador Terry Earthwind Nichols. Ambassador comes from, I'm a former UN Peace Ambassador at large. Earthwind is my Native American tribal name, Gado Onule, which is his breath across the earth, which is a beautiful word. And that journey has put me on a track for world peace and to save the climate. Okay. If we don't get world peace down, climate don't matter. The earth isn't going anywhere, but we could. There could be a mass die-off because of our arrogance. To be this smart and yet still do things in not such a smart way is not the best for the future. I was just having a conversation with an international speaker and colleague of mine earlier today, and we both spoke about, the things that we worry about, climate change and peace, and having discussions with brilliant people like yourself is not about us. None of this affects us personally. It's our grandchildren. Okay?
Yeah.
It's the people that are not born yet, having a place for them to live and thrive. That's what our decisions are all about. The Native Americans have a saying: if you're going to make a decision about what the future of your tribe or your nation or whatever is, don't decide on what it's going to do for you today. Decide on what it's going to do for 7 generations to come. They're the ones that's going to reap the benefits or the destruction. And that's very powerful. And it's becoming more commonplace to speak like that. Okay? So those points in my life have been truly defining. Right here, the internet, being able to speak to people all over the world has been such a joy, such a joy. I have met and come to respect and become very close personal friends with people in different places in the world that we've never met in person. We may never,
Absolutely.
but we're wonderful
Yeah.
friends. We are wonderful friends. So that in a nutshell, some key places in my journey.
Wow. And these are some really beautiful things, and you made some very important points to think over, especially when it comes to being kind towards people. I think in such fast-paced world, people have forgotten to be kind. Everybody just wants things for themselves and just want them and their families to be happy. They forget that one kindness for any person, it could change their life. So I really echo with everything that you've said, and these are some powerful things for people to think over and start actioning to create a beautiful place for all of us to live and for the generation who's going to come to live and thrive. So thank you so much for starting this conversation with such beautiful note, Ambassador Terry. While I was studying you, I was researching you on LinkedIn and trying to understand more about you in detail. I came across the RBR process, your repetitive behavior regression process, and that has intrigued people worldwide. I'd love if you could walk us through how it works, why it is so impactful in helping individuals unlock forgotten memories and address behavior challenges.
You are well researched. Well researched. Thank you. Repetitive behavior cellular regression was born when I was helping somebody run on the internet. I was here in North America, and this woman was in Australia, and she was really having a tough time with life in general. And she reached out to me, and we had been working together. In my journey in life, I know that of the 5 senses, smell is the number one sense for memory recall. And, triggers in life are triggered by something of the 5 senses become present with immediately. And that triggers something in the past that we don't like remembering. Draws out fear. Very seldom will draw out happy thoughts. And so when I was working with this woman one night, I had her close her eyes, close yourself off to the present world, no distractions, and just be present and tell me what you smell, not necessarily in the room you're in. What smell comes to mind? And she did. And she shot her eyes open. She says, "Oh my God, I smell smoke." And she started looking around. There must be a fire. And I go, "No, I think you'd have smelled the smoke more than a few seconds ago." So close your eyes, relax. Let's see if we can find a memory where you smell that smoke. And she did. And so we started dissecting, if you will, or taking apart that memory using the 5 senses and not the story of the memory. So the first thing we do is we remove the motion from the memory. We have the person think of it as a photograph. There's no motion, there's no emotion. And if there's no emotion, there's no ego asking questions. So you can keep fully present, okay? And then we what do you smell? What do you taste? What are you touching? What do you hear? One thing at a time, a little inventory. And then we go to another memory further back in time, and then a third one even further back into early childhood. Because what we found consistently is way back pre-language, early toddlers will be witness to a significant emotional event they don't know how to understand, and they don't have the voice to ask anyone to clarify. And because it's such a high emotional value, something natural happens in the brain called amnesia. Amnesia is a protection device to keep you from remembering something that is tragic. And so as you grow older, that amnesia becomes more sophisticated to protect you and eventually close off that neural pathway in the brain back to that area. Well, when we work with a client and we use the 5 senses, we go all the way back here to the baby brain, the base of the brain, where the senses are, and we work forward where amnesia doesn't protect that area of memory. And the result is that person finds that memory fully intact as if they are living it at the moment. It's amazing that the recall is so accurate. The important part about it is they see the face of the person who was responsible for creating this memory. And then they get to tell that person what they have caused in their life all these years and release all that energy and all that stuff that's emotions that are around that. And then we do something very unique. Ladies and gentlemen, listen carefully. We repeat a sentence. Maybe it's Uncle Joe. Uncle Joe, I love you and I forgive you so I can love me and forgive me. And oh, the peace that comes over you when that occurs. That is significant enough. But now there's a new neural pathway back to that area of the brain, and all of a sudden you have perfect recall of your youth. There's no missing years. There's no nothing. Complete recall using that new neural pathway. Then we know that it takes 30 days for a new pattern, a new habit to take place in the brain where it'll hold. So for 30 days, we have a sequence of calls where we talk to our client. We have them do a little journaling and those kinds of things. And then at the end of the 30 days, what they've been suffering with no longer is present. They have perfect recall of it, but it doesn't bother them emotionally. So PTSD stops, self-sabotaging behaviors stop, all those kinds of things. So we do this online. We don't do it in person. We did it first, but it was very distracting for the person to be in the room with us because they couldn't stay present. Whereas on a camera, like you and I are, it's very easy to keep that emotional separation. So we now have clients, master clients, and practitioners on 6 continents, 13 countries, 27 U.S. states, and we're able to do this work in 5 languages. So it has been a delightful journey so far, and I look for it to go worldwide in the future. In fact, I trademarked it here in the United States, so it would give it further validity.
Wow, interesting. But I understand this process, this will be able to heal people from their mental trauma, the anxieties people have, and there are many kinds of mental traps that we sit in and we don't understand. So this can heal people from all of these things, right?
Yes. You know, what it does is it acknowledges the response to your body when you trigger. It acknowledges it. It doesn't make you afraid of it. You ask yourself, okay, which sense just went off? What memory do I immediately have? And whose face am I looking at? Those three questions immediately. And whatever's triggering you is that face in that memory. So you chew them out very quickly under your breath after you've done through this process for 30 days. It's very quick. You chew them out and then you tell them the sentence, and boom, you're out of your trigger, perfectly calm. Now, we're emotional beings, so things are going to happen in our life that's going to trigger emotions. This is a way to counter that trigger each time it happens.
Right. So is it like getting a person in a hypnotized state to get them out of their trauma, or they are in a normal state of mind?
Well, you're not really getting out of the trauma, you're neutralizing it. It's a valid memory, but it no longer controls you and your behavior. Okay, so you have the ability to shut that off before it starts to become a repetitive thing again. Okay, and ladies and gentlemen, I want to be clear here. That memory is an emotional event. It doesn't mean that you were traumatized physically or something like that. You were a kid, you witnessed something, and you don't know how to give voice to it. And, it could be as simple as one of my clients was 3 months old, sitting on the front porch with mom and dad, and a car went by, ran over a little dog, and kept going. Okay. That was her traumatic event. Why would somebody run over a little dog? And if that became the event, she wasn't assaulted or anything herself. She observed something. So yes, there are occasions where assault and those kinds of things are there, but when the best way to articulate it is a significant emotional event for that person.
Yeah.
So yeah, we can go back and find it. We're just going to create an alternate neural pathway to help the client find that memory and neutralize it.
Do you provide this support to individual, or do you approach like big clients and companies and help them out? Like, how can people get that kind of support from you or from your team?
Okay, we're one-to-one. Okay, at least as of right now, we have not entered into a contract where we would do this work for a company. But right now it's one-to-one, and the person that we work with has really got to be a point emotionally where enough's enough. I'm done with this. Help me. Otherwise, they don't have the mental commitment to see it through.
Right. Makes sense. True. And the commitment that these people need to have with the therapist, or I don't know what is the right word to say, let's say with you, because you'll be doing that process on the person, that has to be of 30 days is what you're saying, right? Okay.
Yeah, and it's not 30 straight days, hour every day. There's, the 3 hours it takes for the initial session. There's 7 days of email journaling in a specific way. And then there is a 1 hour long day 8 call, a 1 hour day 15 call, and a 1 hour day 30 call to wrap up. And so, but the person's present with it every day because it's really changing their lives. The physical changes when they're done with that first session is amazing. They lose tons of pounds off their face and years off their age. Because they're no longer carrying all of that, and for older people who like the thought of looking younger, that's kind of exciting.
Exactly, and it feels so like light when you're able to get rid of all the weight of your traumas, of any agony, anger, any kind of a negative feeling. I know I've experienced it. I mean, not the way you're telling, but it feels so lightened. It feels so beautiful. I totally understand what you're saying. And wow, I'm really glad that we're talking about it and that you are doing this thing. I would say I'm really grateful that people like you are there to help out other people with such problems. Because many times people don't realize that they would need someone to help them out. So
Yeah,
really
and it's
appreciate what you're doing.
thank you. And it's not weakness, it's I'm done with my life the way it is right now. Help me. And when that mental shift happens, the person is able to stay present and really be fully engaged in the success of it. So it starts out, all of my practitioners were clients who went through the process and said, you know what, can you teach me how to do this? I want to do this for other people. And then after about 3 or 4 years, I had some superstar practitioners who I approached and asked them if they want to go through training so that they become a master at it and teach others how to do it. And so I have 5 of them now, and yeah, I'm very proud of them. They're doing the good work.
Absolutely. You should be proud. This is really great service to the world, to the people out there. At least when you know that there is a hope and you can heal, especially when you're dealing things mentally, it helps a lot. I know that because I've had a very difficult phase in my life, like early on, when I wasn't this improved version of mine. I have gone through a very difficult life, I would say mentally. And it usually, it arises from home when you have not had a good childhood, a healthy, happy childhood. Those things stay and it gets embedded in your brain somewhere. And when you grow up with those feelings, negative emotions, it takes a toll on your health. So I know that feeling firsthand, given that I've felt all of these and spent the phase in kind of a depression. I have taken medication for depression as well. Yeah, so I know how it feels, and that's why when somebody speaks about such topic, and if they're providing some kind of healing process or helping them out, I get really emotional about it because I feel at least somebody is getting the help because I could not get the help when I was going through it. Number one, I wasn't aware about the kind of help that I could have, and yeah, I wasn't aware. I just thought that, maybe I am like that. My life is going to end in that wretched way. All the negative things when your life is not working out good, what a person goes through. So I have lived that and I know how it feels. And hence, I came up with this channel, Simplifying Life with Kashira. So I thought, I've had a complicated life. Why not if I share my stories and experiences with people? And if it can help out someone, why not? So a kind of a little bit of kindness, a service from me to people. And I feel really blessed when somebody reaches back and they say that that video helped me out, or you spoke here and I got really inspired by that. I feel really grateful that I could help out even a one person. It's a blessing. So you're doing a wonderful job, Ambassador Terry.
Thank
Thank
you.
you for doing. So,
Thank
Ambassador
you.
Terry, what keeps you motivated? In which phase of life you are? Like, are you in your 60s? Are you in your 70s? And what keeps you motivated? Something that people can learn and they can stay motivated when they are growing older in their life. Because people get scared with age. People get scared how it will be for them. And it comes up with a lot of negative emotions. So I want to understand from you because you're creating a positive impact. You are right there. I keep seeing all your posts and motivating people. So I think it'll be really wonderful for people to know what motivates Ambassador Terry.
The knowledge that I'm on the right track, I'm on the right journey. I have created and my fellow practitioners have helped me further develop a wonderful tool for the future of the mental health of the world. And I'm 72 years old. I'm almost middle
Wow.
aged because I think I'm going to live to 150. So I'm not quite middle aged yet. That's what I say. And you know, I'm a human being. Some days it's kind of hard to get out of bed.
Yeah.
And when I do, I go look at that fellow in the mirror and smile and say, "You're doing the good work. Get dressed."
Yeah.
So I do the good work 7 days a week, and I love it. If I take 2 or 3 days off in the middle of the week, I don't care. Because mine is not a 9 to 5 office in a box kind of thing. My office is in my home, and all of my practitioners' offices are in their home. So they can be in the comfort of their surroundings to do the good work that they do. And when I reach out to people, I do so from the heart and not from the ego. Okay, and it shines through. Okay, you've talked about how it's relating to you, and the wonderful discussion I had with a colleague earlier this morning, and his very high respect for what I'm doing and how I'm doing it out there in the world really keeps you moving. There's a speech I listened to once where start your day by making your bed.
Yeah.
Okay, what does that mean? That means you get up and you make your bed. You have accomplished something in your day right away. Before you have a chance to do anything, you have accomplished something in the world. Okay? And it has no respect to how large of an item it is. You didn't save humanity, you just made your bed. True, but it changes your mindset a lot. And so I would say that keeps me going more than anything. I make my bed every day. I'm 72 years old, so in order for me to keep going, there's certain modifications that have to happen that I didn't care about in my 40s. Okay, I eat different foods. I eat much healthier. I get a lot of rest. I honor when I'm tired, and I honor when I'm wide awake. Sometimes it's quite often I'll be up for 2 or 3 hours in the middle of the night because I'm wide awake. So I'm talking to people on the internet all over the world. Then I get tired and I go back to bed. In the middle of the day, I take a nap. I have all my adult life. I love it.
Oh, that's quite inspiring. And for people in their 20s and 30s who are trying to navigate their life, what is one tip that you'd like to give them?
Just keep moving forward. Find a little piece of good, acknowledge it, and bring it into your heart. It makes it much easier to be kind. And when you're kind, there is no ego. Okay? There's no fear. There's no altering your presence. Presence is the point where manifestation becomes action. So in other words, you take you learn from the past, you take that angst and anxiety of the past and you leave it there. And then you take the fear of the future away and the ego, and you're left with what's here in front of you right now. And what you seek will start to come to light, manifest. And it's very consistent. So presence is the point where manifestation becomes action.
Beautiful. See, usually when people are in their early lives, 20s, 30s, and they're trying to make ends meet, they're trying to build their careers, settle up in a job, trying to grow stability financially, comes up with a lot of stress. I'm sure a lot of people are aware that stop thinking about the future, but still somewhere, because they're not able to see what is ahead, they aren't able to see whether they'll be able to make enough money that will help them while they're growing older. I think all these questions, it always keeps people on their toes and anxious and somewhere a little agitated and disturbed, I would say, because they don't know whether their future will be positive. What is it that you think about this thing? Because this is the reality of majority of the people today, Ambassador Terry.
It's not easy to give up the anxieties and emotional charges in our lives. Okay, we're emotional units. That's just the way it is. And some days it's just really hard to keep going. And when you think about whether or not you can keep going, it's always good for me to think about how far I've come. I'm still here. Okay. And there's a whole lot of people around me over the years and decades that are not here anymore. And I'm still here. And I have a message to help somebody, no matter who I am, you, the person on the street, you that are listening in. you have a message for someone that you can help them with. You haven't met them yet, but just keep going and you will help them. You will meet them and you will help someone with the tools and experiences that life has dealt you. The good stuff and the bad stuff all counts towards what you can do to help others in the future that you don't even know yet. So just keep going.
Just keep going. Absolutely. Absolutely. Because if you don't know that there is something positive, you do not even know there's going to be negative. So just keep going. There is no need to think about it. So I really love that. Thank you. In very early days, did anything bother you or stress you out thinking about future, or what were your challenges? Was there anything that used to trouble Ambassador Terry at that time?
Day-to-day stuff, a lot. When I was in the Navy, I joined the Navy. I had a vision of getting to the rank of Chief Petty Officer in the Navy, very prestigious rank in the enlisted ranks, and I did so. And I focused on being that chief, not getting chief, being that chief, being the person that I aspire to be. And year after year, whatever the selection board was looking for the ideal candidate that year, I did that work for the next year, and then for the next year, and for the next year. And then when it was the first time for me to go before the board, I was advanced because I had everything everybody was looking for. Because my vision was to put that hat on. It wasn't a goal, because a goal is pass or fail. A vision is an achievement, and that's what I was looking for. And I still write books like Consortium, you talked about earlier, Business Model for the 21st Century, where achievement is the motivator, not goals and sales quotas. People who achieve work hard and keep going. Groups of people feed off of each other. One person is not having a good day, they can feed off that wonderful positive energy of everybody else, and pretty soon they're having a good day anyway. So achievement is key in my success.
Beautifully said, and really inspiring. Achievement is the key. Wonderful. And because you mentioned about ranks and titles, also the fact that you have been into corporate, and a lot of people aspiring to be sitting in the top chairs, high ambitions, some people able to reach, some not able to reach, and they stay back with the agony and anger. What is your thought about the titles and the corporate ladder? Do you think ambitious is healthy, but do you think that it's okay to give up your peace and everything to achieve that rank or title, or go easy in life and things will come your way?
It's not about going hard or easy, it's about going focused. You have an achievement that you're moving towards, and that's your focus. If that achievement is to rise to Chief Operating Officer or Chairman of the Board or anything like that, stay focused on that. Not all the little day-to-day distractions that are going to come your way. We either learn in life or we learn in life. Everything that happens to us, around us, or for us makes and shapes who we're going to be. And so when you look at life for the achievement of that vision, then when you get there, you just simply create a new vision. There's, you're not, okay, now what do I do? It's, okay, what next? And you start looking at that. And you take better care of the people around you. You're a better leader. You're more focused. And as I've spoken many times to you today, kindness is everything. Okay, kindness is not weakness. Okay, if you can be anything, be kind, but don't take grief off of anybody. Okay, that's not what life's all about. Control and power over other people will get you some recognition, but it'll never give you peace. You'll never sleep well at night because they're always thinking of the next thing they have to do to keep control and get more money. Those are not happy people. Happiness can really drive your ambition and create achievements. And you become a beacon for those around you. Everybody around you starts achieving too, because they feel and grab onto that energy. And it's naturally contagious.
Yeah. So, Ambassador, you've been recognized as LinkedIn top leadership voice. What is your number one tip for growing on LinkedIn?
Keep at it, keep steady. You know, I do regular posts at the same time every day, every week. So people are used to seeing me on social media. When lockdown happened, for instance, I had about 1,700 followers on LinkedIn. Now I have almost 44,000. And that's because steady points of interest to people. Some of my posts have little or no impressions or reactions or anything like that. That's fine. And others have a lot. The thing is, when I do a post, it's a message to somebody, a person out there. And it is my intent for that person to receive that message. Not an entire society per se, but a person who's looking for answers. Maybe my message to them is that answer. That drives me.
Yeah, absolutely. Some posts which would not have gotten, any like, any impression. If you repost them some other time, that may just get bombarded with, tons of likes and comments. So it is irrespective, and it does not make that person's presence or that person's work any little. So I really want to urge people to not get impacted by if you're not growing on social media. If you are passionate about what you're doing, you will ultimately land there. So I don't think that there's any point in getting bothered or comparing with the people who have already grown or have reached there. I think that makes a huge difference.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you think on social media, people who put out angry information all the time, they don't get a lot of attention. Okay, people who want to help other people get a lot of attention because it's coming from here, not from here.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's the most important thing: is you be you. That's an important thing.
Absolutely. Ambassador Terry, one final question to you. You are a keynote speaker. You've spoken on many stages. I want to understand from you that as a keynote speaker, number one, how do you overcome stage fear? And what advice would you give to people who are looking to land paid speaking opportunities for somebody who is starting out and who doesn't know the way how to land the paid opportunity? So, two questions, and that if you can provide your insights on it.
I started out speaking to small groups at luncheons, and different people who were in attendance that day invited me to speak at their group or at their company, and it began to expand. I took a speech class in college. That was part of my business degree, and terrified me. Now it doesn't bother me at all. I can walk out in front of 2,000 people and speak to every one of them as if they're my friends, because they are, in my mind, my friends. I take time to talk to and listen to people ahead of my speech who will be in the audience. And some of the words, their buzzwords of their industry or anything like that, that I can incorporate into my talk, I do. So they are relating to somebody who relates to them. Okay. And when you stop talking to a room or a stadium full of people and you start talking to friends and people that you want to give your message to from your heart, size doesn't matter anymore. Walking up on stage for me is no big deal anymore. I am aware, okay, I just don't walk up there and go, okay, ready to talk. That's ego. I get up there and I don't say these words, but I say, hi friends, we're going to talk about this today. And I start talking, because my message will not be for everybody in the room, but somebody in that room will not only receive it, but they will take it with them. They will take it to heart, and they will take it to with them. I will change somebody's life, and that motivates me. Now, as far as paid speakers, when I was, I've had people say, "Hey, look, what do you charge to come and do a keynote for my company?" Blah 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 blah. I says, "Well, what's your budget?" So I got a kind of an idea what they pay, and say, "Okay, that falls within my parameter. What do you want me to talk about?" And then the more popular you get, and the more places you go, the more willing your hosts are to pay you more money.
Yeah.
And so that's a nice thank you for me doing the work that I do. For instance, if I go to a show, I'll give you one good example. Barcelona, Spain, a couple years ago. I got there a day before the event. And I walked around, spent a lot of time in and around the event, people setting up and talking to lots of different people that were coming to attend. And by the time I was ready to get there for my speech had changed a lot, because what I was going to talk about is not what these people want to hear. So I changed it so that it was something that they would want to hear. And then, as important, I was one of the last people to leave the next day so that people could talk to me and follow up with me. A lot of times, people will invite me to dinner that night and or breakfast the next day for a private meeting, and I'm totally available for them. I come in the morning of the day before, and I leave the afternoon or evening as much as I can the day after the event closes, 3 days away, 2 days away, whatever it is. And that makes me more approachable, and more people wanting to hear my message at their place with their people, and they're willing to pay good money to hear a good message.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really inspiring that you connect with your audience. You spend so much of time listening to people and letting people come to you to share their experiences or maybe their concerns, and adjusting your talk according to what people need. I think that is really important to be a successful keynote speaker, because there is no point if your audience is not able to get some help from what you're delivering. So I really appreciate that part. And I think that's really important for emerging keynote speakers to learn and embed in their speaking. Thank you so much for sharing your journey, your wisdom, and your groundbreaking insights with us today. You've really inspired us to think deeper and about healing, growth, and purpose. And ladies and gentlemen, to all our listeners, I hope today's conversation has left you as inspired as it has me. Simplifying life isn't about doing less, it's about prioritizing what truly matters. And if you'd like to connect with Ambassador Terry or explore more of his work, make sure to check out his LinkedIn. I'll share his link where he shares incredible thought leadership and insights. Thank you for tuning in. Until next time, remember, simplifying life starts with focusing on what makes it more meaningful. Thank you so much, everyone. Please take care.